Looks like it's time, so let's go. I must admit, 7 p.m. snuck up on me pretty quick. I was gonna try and get some more cleaning of my space done before I actually started, but it's time, so just getting some resin out of this cup, and then we'll proceed. I'll go through everything that we're gonna go get done tonight. Hello! Welcome War Pony and Frog with a black hat. Genius is messy. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. That's totally what's going on here. Yes. My infinite genius, yeah. Also, Frog with a black hat. It paints such a picture. I love it. Alright, so we're going to be working on kind of two main... Well, I'm really going to be working on 3 different commissions. Well, sort of 3, almost 4, but a couple of them are just like little bits and pieces. One of them is going to be a set of fate dice, fudge dice, whatever you want to call them. And they're going to have kind of like little stones and some little mountains in them. I guess I imagined a top hat. I guess when you say black hat, I just kind of always think top hat. Or a bowler. That's a bowler, that's true. Could be a bowler. Those are the 2 that I really think of when I think of black hats. Like a newsy cap, I think of as being gray or brown for some reason. But yeah, just one of them's going to have a mountain in it, which I made and then painted earlier today. Top hat. Okay, there we go. We have our answer. But yes, let's see if I can get it so you can see. Yeah. Painted those earlier today, so there's a little bit of green and stuff in there. Made these out of polymer clay. And then there's a whole bunch of stone. So one of them's going to have a mountain, and then the other ones are going to have stone. They're not actual stones, they're polymer clay, which is a little bit heavier than resin, but not nearly as heavy as putting actual rocks in it would be. So I just made a whole bunch of kind of little rock shapes. We're going to use those. I gotta go order more dice now. Oh yeah, you got your dice. That's great. I just remembered that. So we're going to do those. That's one set. And then another set's going to be a set of the pipped D6s here. It's the ones with the dots. And that's going to be with... Let's see if I can show these guys to you. I'll just show one. And they're kind of derpy, but I kind of like them like that. But they're going to be... little octopus, little octopus dice. Look at them, little octopus guys. And then we're gonna try and get some like seaweed in there with them. I have a couple of different ideas. I don't know which direction I want to go yet. I can either go with some like moss that I have over here. It would work well as like seaweed. Just I have a couple different colors. I have a couple different textures. Or I did just take some paint to some clear plastic, earlier today in a few different shapes, and we could cut those out. Oh, what was that? Oh, thanks for following. We could cut those out and use those. So we could either go kind of a little bit more cartoony, I feel like, which I'm kind of leaning towards because I feel like the octopuses are kind of cartoon-ish. Or we could go a little bit more actual natural, which, you know, we were talking about maybe using, here, there's a few little octopuses here. Let me throw this down there. We were talking about using some actual little seashells in there, in which case maybe the more natural ones, the less cartoony ones might match better. I don't know. I'm wary of using seashells, to be fair, because I worry about the weighting. I don't know. It'd probably be okay. I just worry that it might weight the dice a little bit. I usually try to avoid that if I can. So we're going to be making those. Let me put these back in here. What we've got got all of our little octopi. All the little octopuses. I made those yesterday and then I painted the little eyeballs on there this morning. Okay, got those. Paint seashells? Like, I mean, I guess I could make some out of polymer clay too. There's something about the, like, actual seashells though. I don't know. To be fair, I don't think I'd use seashells in all of them. It's something I'm gonna think on though. I did pull out all of my moss and everything here because I have a couple of different. There's a cat outside my door. I have a couple different kinds of moss here that we're gonna use for the mountain ones. So either way, that stuff's gonna stay out. We're going to go back and do. Here, let me show you some of the ones we did last time. So last time we started working on some blackberry themed ones. I'll show you the two that did actually like turn out how I wanted them to, I guess. So here's the one with the thorns and the flower in there. And the blue swirl maybe ended up a little bit towards the top, but that's okay. We might have a cat visitor in a moment. Oh yeah, feel free to send in a cat video. Are you in the Discord, Warpony? Are you in my Discord? I feel like I should add a channel for just pictures of animals. I'm trying to remember if you're in the Discord or not. And then the other one is just like a really, really dark purple. It has like glitter and stuff in it. It's almost hard to see on camera. Almost hard to see on camera here. That's how dark it is. But the idea there was for it to be kind of jam-like. So we got those. This is going to be, the plan is for this to be another set where every die is different. The 2D10 we're trying to make look kind of like blackberry vanilla swirl ice cream. And I want them to be different. Oh, right. I should make a channel though for just like pet photos and videos in there. I feel like that's something that would be useful. But that'd probably be a good place to send a link or send a video. Because I probably am not going to watch it in the middle of the stream, but no, the 2D10s. I was trying to do kind of a dirty pour for this one, but the lines in it, awesome, that's a great spot for it. The lines kind of ended up too thin, I think, so we're going to do this one again, but slightly different. We're going to do it without the alcohol ink, which is what causes the lines. And then the other one, I was kind of trying to do like a semi-opaque white outside with like the dark purple on the inside. And I don't really like how it looks. So we're going to do that the other direction. I'm going to make a semi-translucent, either dark red, dark purple, somewhere in there. And then pipe some white into it to try and give it kind of a, I don't know, just kind of some blobs of white in there. So they'll end up looking different. This will probably have two different opaque ones. This will have a translucent one and an opaque one. And they'll have slightly different designs. The D8 actually turned out pretty okay. It has maybe the stuff on the bottom maybe ended up a little bit dark, but it has a popsicle in there that's melting. Ooh. See if it finds it. There we go. It has kind of a popsicle in there that's melting. That's the idea anyways. Unfortunately, ooh, what's happened to my voice? I dropped it while it was still kind of curing and stuff, and I've never had this happen before, but I completely chipped it. And I dropped it on the, come on. Everyone wants to find it. Well, one way or another, there's a big chip out of the corner. Soda shop dice? What do you mean? Oh, like a whole series of dice that's like ice cream cones and stuff? That'd be kind of fun. So I did make, I have my blackberries here. I did make some more little popsicles, and we're gonna remake that D8. I made a few different colors, so we'll see which one I decide to go with, because this one I think is going to be a little bit dark. It kind of matches the red color. Oh, it just reminds you of Soda Shop. I mean, it's supposed to be part of the blackberry set, but, so the idea is that it's like a blackberry popsicle. The D20 and the D12 are going to have, here's like a blackberry that I made out of polymer clay. One of those. Made out of polymer clay. And then the D12 will have like a flower and leaf. And I'm going to do some different colors with it and stuff. Okay, so don't know which one of these I want to use yet. Depends on which one fits better. I do want to make some more mushroom necklaces, like this one. This one needs a thing attached to it, which is why it's out. But some more mushroom necklaces. It looks like a mulberry too. Mulberries. So I'm gonna make some more mushroom necklaces like that. Like I said, it's kind of a lot of some smaller little projects. And then I do want to do. I have a commission that I've been working on for a while now, and it had all sorts of issues where I'm trying to do a D20 that has a bee in it, and I finally got one to work, but I hear a cat outside the door. I still don't know if I'm completely happy with it. It's in the tumbler to polishing right now. It's not polishing right this second. It's very loud, so I think I'm gonna do another one just to get it going. So I'm going to do just a layer of clear in a D20 mold, because then I'll glue down a bee on the inside and then pour another layer of clear. And then I have a whole box. This is just kind of different. I have a whole box of like miscellaneous dice. So actually I have two at the moment. So like ones that they turned out fine, but maybe they're just by themselves. Some of them, you know, maybe not all of them in the set turned out. Some of them, you know, they maybe I didn't like them all that much, but the dice themselves are fine. And so I have a whole bunch of those, and so I'm starting to put together some like mismatched sets. And one of those that I've started to put together is kind of a glacier or an ice set. So I took a whole bunch of ones that kind of have that sort of vibe, but they don't have really a D20. I don't have a spare D20 that matches them, so I wanted to get maybe some sort of blue and white D20 made for that. We'll see if I get to that. It's not as important as the other things. Let's see here. Let me think about how much resin this is probably going to take. So, this is ugly dice grab bag. They're not all ugly. Some of them are. Some of them are a little ugly. To be fair, that grab bag there is the, if you order the raw mystery set from my shop, I'll put together a set out of all of the spares. Look through them and see what colors I have and that sort of stuff. I do have it set up there so you can request like a certain color or a certain theme or something for your raw mystery dice. Ugly is the new cute. Some of them in there are actually ugly though. Let me show you. I'm going to show you some ugly dice. And then we'll actually get back to what we were doing. This set I really don't like. This set reminds me of like that. And someone else maybe would like them, but I really don't, so I just didn't. It's like half blue and then half all sorts of random stuff. It reminds me of that island of floating garbage in the middle of the ocean. It's like, not really a fan. This one was like, I poured one color and I probably just didn't remember what color it was, and then I poured another color of just like dumping random colors in, so it's like half brownish orange and half teal. Most of them in here are nice though. I have some that just got dyed funky colors. This one was supposed to be green and ended up kind of reddish because I kind of ruined a couple of my molds on accident a little bit. So there's all sorts of things in here. And then there's also some in here that were from commissions that just didn't work out. And I felt were like a little too specific. Or just too, it was just like one die out of a set or something like that. So they ended up in there. Like some of these, not the D8, but these might end up in there, you know, because they're kind of by themselves, but they're not going to be used for the commission. Okay, let me figure out how much resin we're going to need. So we'll probably need about 15 to 20. Let's just assume each one's going to take 5. So we'd say, so this would take about 50. It's going to be a little bit less than 50 to do all of those. And then let's say 60. So I think we could do another set of dice if we wanted to as well. Might be cutting it rather close. 2.5. May or may not get to those. This is iffy dice grab bag. It really is. The thing there is like, if people send I usually try to match colors and stuff. Like either, you know, if people have a certain request, they can do that. And if not, I'll usually try and like send them a set that's all blues or all purples or something like that. I do try to get them to kind of match. Okay, so I'm putting that in there. I'm doing this here. I need to glue some little, oh, what do you call them? Eye pins, I guess. To the tops of these, because these are going to become keychains. So I'm just going to glue a couple of little pins here. They're not eye pins. Are they eye pins? I don't know. What do you call them? They have like a little flat part on the top. I'm not quite sure what those are called. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to glue a couple of these to the top with just a little dab of Elmer's glue. And that'll hold them in place enough for me to add a little bit of resin on top and hold them in place, like firmly hold them in place. Now I do ultimately want to make like pretty things that people are going to be happy with. This was a something I said in, I have there's some bubbles at the top of that, that's weird. I have just like a chat with like 2 other dice makers. And we just kind of chat about dice making stuff sometimes. And, you know, kind of check in and be like, hey, how's your shop doing? What's new with you? That sort of stuff. Brag about packaging and being like, look, I got the new mold making materials. There's a lot of just kind of behind the scenes stuff that we chat about. But one of the things I was saying the other day was it's Maker's Club. Yeah, there's a whole 3 of us, but it's just kind of, it's literally just 3 of us. We just have like a group chat. But I was saying the other day, and I've said this before here too, the hardest thing to figure out is pricing for things. But what I was saying is it's difficult for me to figure out both like the value of what I am making and also what people would be willing to pay for it. And I say, what brought this up was that someone who bought dice from me said that I should raise my commission prices. Which is like, I mean, I feel like that's a good sign. Gotta figure that out though. And what I said was that I never want to charge someone more than what I, like, more than like the value of what I'm making for them. Like I want, if someone's going to be paying money for something that I'm making for them, I want it to be of a quality that is worth that. And even if it's just my miscellaneous dice, I still stand by that. Here, a kitty cat. We have a very short kitty cat saying hi before I actually get started on things. Here, I'm gonna grab the cat. Here, Dixie boy. Here. Come here, come say hi to everybody. Come say hi. How you doing? Oh. There we go. Price worth the effort. Yeah, I mean, I guess part of it has to do with like time and stuff too. I was just thinking of though, ooh, dude, you're shedding so much. Oh dear, maybe I need to take you back out. Look at how much hair is here. Oh boy. All right, buddy. Hello. Oh, he's purring. He's purring, guys. Okay, buddy, I think you need to leave. You're shedding so much. This is why I have cat hair and everything. Yes, you're a good boy. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye, have fun. Oh, hi, Koshi. Welcome, Five Sagai? Five Sagai? Oh, Sagai? I feel like there's lots of ways I could read your name. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart, though. Price worth the effort, but also price worth, like, the value of what I'm creating. Okay, size and size. So it's like sci-fi, but sci-guy. Ah. Alright. I think we could make one more set of dice here. But I could... might be cutting it a little bit close. Let me start putting some things together while I think on this. So I'm going to make some mushroom terrarium necklaces. We pull down the pieces for that. So I think make another red one. Make another like little mushroom one, and should I try to do one with these? Let's do 2 red ones. I need to make some more. I need to make some more little tiny mushrooms at some point. All sorts of stuff up on this. There we go. And here's the little mushrooms that I made a while back out of polymer clay. So we're gonna put those in some necklaces. Let me make sure there's no little bits of resin in here. So what is everybody up to? I'd say this evening, but I guess it's evening for me. I don't know what time it is for everybody else. I thought it was kind of the weird thing. That is a big chunk of resin that needs to go in my spare resin container, not in here. Yeah, it's always kind of weird streaming because it's just like, oh yeah, you know, it's 7 p.m. for me, and then there's some people who are watching sometimes that it's just like 3 a.m. or, you know, it's noon, just like, oh, right, you're in the UK or you're in Japan. So I'm just taking a little bit of this. I'm kind of making like a dirt layer in here. This isn't actually dirt. This is actually coffee grounds, but it looks similar. And it has kind of it's almost like smaller granules, I think. And so when I'm working at the small scale, I like it kind of translates well. But also it's what I have. Alright, just let me, I'm just trying to get some of this dirt, quote unquote, off of the sides, because it does like to static to them a little bit. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Most of it will get kind of pushed down a little bit. Should be asleep. It's 3:30 a.m. for me. Oh goodness. Oh dear. Please don't feel like you need to stay up on my account. Although I am glad that you can come hang out. I'm just going to tear off a little piece of moss here. Shove that down in there. Just trying to make kind of like a forest floor. Do that for all of these. I might need a little bit more than this. That wasn't very much. Might be okay. A little tiny bit more. Just off to the side. Ah! I am still thinking if I want to do another, like a third set of dice. See, it's been a busy day so far. Got the vaccine, all good. Had D&D, and a friend is going to be streaming later too, so you're going to play some games together. 4:30 p.m. for you. Oh wow. So you got a bit of your day left. That's nice. That means that you and Frog with a black hat are almost like across the world from each other, probably. Because it's almost the same time, just like 12 hours off. See, isn't it? I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of funny to think about. There's all that moss. That should be fun. That should be fun. I mean, I can talk. That should be fun though, with playing some games with a friend. I've recently started playing Minecraft, which has been really fun. I've been playing that with like my brother and a friend. All right. So I'm just gonna. I have some like stringier moss here. We're gonna add a little bit of that. Yeah, I only got it recently. My brother's been playing it for years, but I'm having fun learning all the weird stuff. 9:27 p.m. Oh, I'm probably gonna go crash. All right, have a good night, Warpony. Thanks for stopping by. See, we're not too different because it's 7:30 for me. I guess that's the thing. I'm always just like, would it be better for people if I streamed at a different time? But it really doesn't matter because it's just a different time for everybody. I'd just probably end up with different people coming to hang out. Ah! You stop knocking that over. And I just want to add a little bit of this sort of grass-like moss. There we go. Man, I feel like I've been really busy lately, but also... A second, that's a new cat sound. What? What's the matter? Buddy? You're okay? I think maybe he had a toy in his mouth because he's standing outside the door with a toy and he wants me to go play fetch with him. I have two cats that will play fetch. He's not as good at it as the other cat. in that he will run. Oh, he has a hair tie and he just shoved it under the door. He's very good at going to get it, but he's not very good at bringing it back. The other cat is much better at bringing it back. Buddy, I'm not playing with you through the door. Sliding things under the door. I have 4 cats, which is probably far too many. Buddy, you gotta stop. He just shoved it under the door again. Wants me to go play with him. I have 4 cats, and they are all sweethearts. And they're all different. Fitz, that's Fitz. He's the one that was on here earlier. He is very much a sweetheart. He's very, very social. He loves people. I remember back before the quarantine, your cat just hates you? Oh no. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Cats are kind of finicky, but at the same time, I feel like, where did that thing go? Where did I put the little popsicle stick that I was using to push things down? Well, I guess I'll steal this one. What was I saying? They can be finicky, but I don't know. I guess I know cat body language pretty well. So, I don't know. We're all chill. They always want to come hang out. No, Fitz is very, very social. Back before the quarantine, my friends, well, at the time, 2-year-old, no, 3-year-old, I remember at one point, she was chasing Fitz around the house, and Fitz was so happy. He loves playing chase. He will try to lead either my brother or I outside to come chase him in the backyard. Like, he loves people. He loves other cats. He's just so friendly. My other 3 cats aren't as, like, friendly in the sense that they want to be around people. They really, if someone else came over to the house, my other 3 cats would hide. One of them you would never see. One of them would just be gone. I don't even know where she hides when people come over to the house. And she's always been like that. And the other 2 you might see, but if you tried to approach them, they would run away from you. Fitz will greet you at the door, but the other ones run away from you. But with my brother and I, who live together, they just love attention. Like, even the one that, like, you would never see if you came over to my house, she will just, like, hop up places and just demand pets. But more often than not, they just want to hang out in the same room. Quite often when I'm done streaming, there'll be, like, 1 or 2 of them just sitting outside the door here, just waiting for me. It's very sweet. It's very, very sweet. Okay. So we've got those put together. Let's maybe get these mountains figured out. So for the mountains, one of them's going to have a mountain in it. Your cat is 7 now. When he was younger, he would play with you. Now he just hates you. Huh, I wonder why that is. I guess that some cats are, I don't know, they're all different. Some of them are just grumpy. So one of them's going to have a mountain in it. I kind of wonder if I should put down a layer of something else. Oh! Hi, Dove's walkie-talkie. I was just showing off what I'm working on. I'm figuring out how I'm going to place things in here right at the moment. So you have good timing. I have the mountain that we're working with. Here, I'll show it off on camera. I feel like it's a little easier to see on camera if it'll focus. There's a little mountain there. I'm debating whether I want to put some sort of, like, a little bit of color below this almost, just so that it kind of, because I'm just thinking about the bottom of the die. So let me grab a die. So if we have a die, here's a fate die. You know, and the mountain's going to be in there. One side would then end up just looking like that, which I feel like isn't super, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be kind of weird looking compared to everything else. So I'm kind of debating whether I want to do like a layer of like a color first. You know what I just got done today? I have my molds like this for fate dice. I made today just a single mold for a fate dice, for a fate die, I guess. I think maybe I will pour just a tiny layer of like a dark gray resin that's going to kind of match this color. A very, very thin layer in the bottom of here, so it's kind of flat. And then we'll let that cure, and then I'll add this, and then add a little bit of like moss around it, and a little bit of like, not smoke, mist around that. And I think that'll make the bottom look a lot cleaner. Yes, it'll still just be one color, but I think it'll look a lot cleaner. So I think we'll do that. That does mean that we're not actually going to be messing with the actual mount today. I'll have to add that, but we will be doing the other dice. So just one of them's going to have a mountain in it, and the other ones are going to have these little tiny stones. It's in quotes because I made these. These are made out of polymer clay. And the reason that I made them out of polymer clay is because it's a little bit heavier than resin polymer clay is, but it's not nearly as heavy as rocks, so they should be weighted quite a bit better. And the idea here is we're going to kind of put them in here, kind of in the corners and stuff, and I probably will just end up making 4 of them. We'll see how much of this I have. We're going to put those in kind of the corners. We're going to put a little bit of like moss on top of that, and then I have some purple flowers to choose from. I went and looked through kind of all the dried flowers that I have to try and figure out which ones we wanted to use. Just a second. Is that going to be too big? I'm just going to do this by hand. So, but let's get these, I think, situated first. And I might end up UV resining some of the stuff to the rocks, and we'll see. And the reason I might do that is to make sure things don't float, because flowers and stuff air likes to get trapped in them, and they're a little bit lighter than the resin, so quite often they'll try to float. And like I said, the rocks are slightly heavier than resin, so if I attach the things to the rocks, hopefully that'll hold them down. Rocks, again, these aren't actual rocks. So let's add a little bit of these to each of these. And I'm gonna, let's use this. I'm gonna try and kind of push them to like a sort of a corner. I don't want them all to be the same. You know, some of them will have slightly larger areas of rock, some of them will have slightly smaller areas. You know, I want them to look kind of natural-ish. I do kind of want a mix of sizes and everything like that too. I have kind of a mix of shapes as well. Thinking about it, I probably shouldn't have done round ones, because that's more of an ocean thing. Because it's usually like water. I guess maybe there's a mountain. There could be a river. There's a river in this mountain. That's where all the round ones are coming from. Because what I was saying is that usually the like really smooth stones come from near sources of water, because the water kind of smooths them. There's a cat hair in here. Any brambles since the last stream? Just a second. Alas, there have not been. Every other week I take Monday and Tuesday to make more molds. So on, oh, the emoji didn't show up for a moment there, Miss Messy, and I'm like, how did she send a blank message? I was so confused. Also, welcome Biznut and welcome Miss Messy. No, every other week, I will do either making dice on Mondays and making dice on Tuesdays, or making more molds. And so Monday and Tuesday I was making another set of molds. So I haven't really gotten much done in the way of dice, but I'm going to be working on some of those tonight. That is a plan. I made some more little popsicles yesterday, so I'm gonna work on those. How are you both doing this evening? It looks like Miss Messy is hiding in a blanket, which looks comfy. I'm just trying to get some of these fake rocks to kind of sit in little piles here. And if a few of them kind of end up, oh good, glad to hear it. Glad you're doing well. If a few of them kind of end up a little bit separate from the rest, that's fine. Just kind of looks like they've fallen down off the pile, which is just kind of a natural spot for them to be. I don't want them like too far out so it looks like they're completely separate, but if they're a little bit disjointed, I don't want them to be disjointed, I guess. Doing work reports but didn't want to listen to music anymore. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I listen to a lot of YouTube videos. I used to listen to like a lot of music, but now it's mostly YouTube videos. I think part of it is that I wasn't allowed to at my last job. Wasn't like allowed to listen to stuff. So now I'm just like, I'm going to watch all the YouTube videos or listen to all the YouTube videos. Alright, so I think those look pretty good. Yeah, I like music. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's nice being able to listen to something while working. Let's see if I can show you. It might be a little difficult. There we go. You can kind of see. I have them kind of coming out of like a corner and stuff there, or the sides. That's kind of the goal. Let me angle that again. So I've got those, and then we're going to add a little bit of moss on top of that. And I have a couple different kinds of moss here. I think part of the reason I've talked about this before. I watch a lot more YouTube videos than I watch streams, but I do watch some streams. I think part of it is that depending on like the size of the stream and stuff, if it's a really small stream, more often than not, I feel like it's more of a conversation that I'm having with someone. I think I want these to be almost smaller pieces, but I'm worried that these are gonna float. I might pull out the UV resin and try to attach it a little bit. We'll see. We'll see how well this works. I could try attaching it to just a stone here too, and then dropping that in, but I don't know how well that'll work. No, but with like small streams, you know, the fun of it is chatting with the person who's streaming, at least in my opinion. I know some people just like, sometimes I will watch larger streams, just if I want to have something in the background where someone's talking more, I guess. But a part of the fun of streaming is like chatting with people. I think of it as kind of a social thing. And so if I'm working on something, sometimes it's just like, I can't talk. The best part of smaller streams. Yeah. Exactly. But like, if I'm working on stuff, sometimes, depending on what I'm working on, especially if I'm like pouring resin or something, it's like, I can't type to people at the moment. So I will just not watch a stream because it's like, I can't interact with people at the moment, which is the whole fun part of streams. Here, another kitty cat. Ah, it's the same kitty cat. He still sounds sad. I'm gonna try and just kind of stick that to some of these rocks in here. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. Oh, do you want your hair tie back? He has a hair tie that he shoved under the door. He wants me to go play fetch with him. I was talking about this earlier. Alright, give me just a second here. I'm just going to shove the hair tie back under the door. Here, go play. Yeah. He's a sweetheart. No, buddy, not right now. I'm in the middle of something. Oh, dear. If we're very quiet, he might forget that I'm in here and go away. Ooh, no. Well, it's sticking, which is good, but it's kind of stuck almost too much. I'm trying to get these kind of in here. I don't know how to, I don't want it to be the only thing in here. Alright, I'm gonna try, I know, he's very cute. I'm gonna nuke that for a minute, see if I can get those things to attach. And then we'll add a little bit more to the other ones, and then I got some of this other moss fairly recently, or I think it's some sort of moss. And I haven't actually used it yet. I got it, I got some forget-me-nots for a different set of commission dice, and they came with some other like flowers and stuff with them. And one of the things it came with was like this other sort of moss. So we'll try adding a little bit of that as well. It's nice to have like a mix of textures. And then I'll show you all the flower options. Actually, this will work out because Dubs is here. So I'm gonna run that twice. I'll start breaking up some more little pieces for the next thing. For stuff like this where I'm kind of going for kind of more of a natural look. Actually, even for the stuff where I'm going a little bit more cartoony, I like having kind of a mix of textures and stuff. I don't know, I always feel like that looks better. It just adds to it. Just even if it's not super noticeable. It's one of those things where I don't want people to think about the fact that there's a lot of texture, but if they were looking at it and it didn't have a lot of texture, it would look more boring. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Is that the whole point is that it's not to, show it off or anything, but I want there to be just enough stuff in there that it looks more natural and the like. Alright. I'm just trying to add a little bit of resin to these. Oh, come on. Stick there. Alright, I think I'll just keep adding to the other ones as well. Just do all of these at the same time. I kind of debated when I was making the little rocks if I should make like little rock piles instead of making just the little rocks. And I'm kind of debating that again because they kind of move around a bit. Once the resin's in there, it won't be as big of an issue, but they definitely like to move around, which is not really what I'm going for. I want them to kind of stay in the corners, but alright. Oops. And again, I'm just doing this with the UV resin so that hopefully, oops, don't want that stuck in there. Hopefully these little pieces of moss won't float. That's an issue that I've had. I've done a couple sets of like terrarium dice before where they have, some moss and some flowers and stuff in them. And, more often than not it works out fine, but every once in a while some of the moss will just try to float a little bit. It just doesn't look quite right. Especially since we're going to be mixing up this resin a little bit, which might sound weird. I'm not going to try and like hit the moss or anything, but to add, we want kind of a foggy effect a little bit in here. And I guess there's actually two ways we could do that. We could either add like some clear resin and then add some semi-opaque, like whitish resin, and then add more clear resin and do it while it's still liquidy enough that it'll get displaced and kind of move out. Or I could take a little bit of like white alcohol ink or something on the end of a thing and then swirl it around in here. And now I'm not sure, because I was originally thinking of doing that and swirling it around, but I think that's going to be more difficult with all of these items in here. I think the items are going to get in the way a bit. Darn it. Well, things stuck. That's good, but no, they're not sticking in the right spot. No, that's fine. Okay. Well, I think that's good. We kind of have a different amount in all the different things, which is, again, kind of looks more natural-ish. And I'll see if I can show you in just a moment, but let me start baking those, get those in the right spot. And then we'll add a little bit of this other moss as well. Like I said, add a little bit more texture, just because it's nice. So that'll take a minute. While those are baking, let me start going over our flour options with you. I went and pulled out a few from the ones that I've tried, and then a few from the ones that I bought, or a couple from the ones I bought. We were going for kind of like a purple color, and I pulled out a few different ones. So this one's actually just kind of red leaves. These ones are kind of pink. These ones are a very kind of pale-ish purple blue color, a little bit. Maybe a little bit too, what's the word I'm looking for? Subtle? Maybe a little bit too subtle. This is like a really dark purple, but I think it's maybe a little bit too dark. These ones are just they're kind of blue-ish. I think, honestly, the ones I'm kind of leaning towards are either that's kind of, let me get one that's a brighter purple. Maybe like one of these little tiny purple kind of fluff ball pieces. Or, and these are a lot brighter, which is kind of why I'm maybe leaning towards these a little bit. Some of the petals from this that I think we could make look like flowers. Let me see if I can grab one out of here. Okay. So these are actually petals, but I think if I attach them correctly, I could make them look like flowers growing out of the rocks. And I think maybe these ones, just because they're like a little bit brighter, I think they'll stand out a little bit better. But it was mentioned that these are doves, if they're still here. I don't know if they're still here or not. But if they are, you know, I'm open to hearing which one you like best too, because, you know, you're the one that's going to end up with them. So I'm leaning towards these bright ones at the moment, but you know, there's other options too. I did also pull out some lavender. You could do lavender flowers. They're again kind of a more bluish color. But yeah, I'm thinking the kind of brighter purple. I think it kind of matches the art that was sent too. Okay, so we've got our little bits of moss in here. Let me see if I can. Let me just go if I can. There you go, you can kind of see the, oh, it's not finding what I want it to find it. Come on. Yeah, got that moss in there with a little bit of rocks. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the brighter ones just because they'll pop a little bit more. So I think let's go that way. Let me add a little bit of this moss first. And I really do mean just a little bit. I just want a little bit of the mix. Oh, hi, buddy. I'm busy at the moment. He's such a silly boy. Alright. And I do have some like small leaves and stuff I could add too, but I think if I start adding too much more, we won't have room for the flowers. So let's add that. It's going to add a little bit of different color too, which is always nice. Alright, that's probably going to be plenty. Let's try adding a little bit. You want a cat so bad. They're pretty great. At least in my opinion. I've always loved having a cat. And a little tiny piece next to that. Alright. I mean, I do have cat hair everywhere, which is always an issue, but, you know. No, I should find that picture that I took at one point of my cat's normal spots when I'm going to bed at night. I have a picture. Let's see if I can find it. It was a while ago, so I may or may not be able to find it. But I think it has all four of them in it. Well, here, we're going to show and tell for a moment. Let's see. Here's Koshek, who's the black one, and Not, who's the kitten, sleeping in the cat bed, which is fairly normal to have two of the cats sleeping in there together. Here's Luna, my packaging expert. That was brown paper that I was trying to use to package things that she decided was hers. She's probably the least sociable of our cats, like with the other cats. Well, here's Nod again. She loves burrowing. She loves burrowing in things. Let's see. Yeah, they're adorable. How far back was that? I had a picture at one point. Oh, here it is. Is this the one? You can see let's see if you can see at least 3 of my cats in this photo. Laying on, this is as I'm trying to go to sleep at night. There's Luna on top of me, Not in between my legs, and then Fitz over at the bottom of my legs. And you can't see Koshi, but she's actually down by my feet. She's sleeping by my feet there. That's their normal sleeping spots. They're a bunch of sweethearts. You have 2 cats, 2 parrots, and a chihuahua. Ooh, wow. That's a lot of animals. I find parrots so interesting. I would never want one, just because they seem like they'd be, a lot of work and all that. I feel like they have there's a lot of responsibility tied to them, just because they're pretty smart. But at the same time, just stories of how they can talk and stuff. And like the ones that I've met that can talk and stuff, it's just like, there's just something fun about being able to talk to the animal. Talk to the animal. Ooh, I don't like how that's attached. Just a second here, let's see if we can get that. Something different. There we go. Also, like I said, I forget the name, like parakeets or little burbs. Little red cheeks. My thing is that, like, the only places that I've been, like, super allergic to something, like, eyes could barely see, stuffed up, couldn't see, cockatiels, have been houses where they've owned both cats and birds. So I don't know what it is exactly that I'm allergic to there, but I'd be wary, like, me personally, I'd be wary of getting birds also. Also, I have cats that probably would try to eat them, but I don't think I'll ever get birds because I think I might be allergic, which is unfortunate. Alright, let me nuke that. I think that's enough of that kind of moss. They live longer than cats. Yeah. Well, parrots can live for like a long time, up to 20 years. Oh, cockatiels live up to 20 years. I think there's some kind of parrots that live up to like 50, isn't there? It's just crazy. Macaws live 50 years. Oh, okay. Let me get my purple flowers out if I can. Alright. I'm not using the full flowers here. I'm just using the petals of them that kind of look like flowers. Because these wouldn't fit in there. I don't really want the fluffy parts here either. We're just gonna... Did I run that twice? I don't remember. I'm just gonna try and pull some of these purple parts off to the side here. And then we'll add those. And like I said, we're going to do all of these with like the stones and the moss. And then I'm going to do a separate one, over here. We're just going to do a layer of like a gray today, and then I will add the mountain and all the other stuff with it. What is today? Today's Wednesday, probably on Friday. Technically Thursday's my day off. I usually still end up working, but I usually don't end up making dice. So I'll probably do the second part of that on Friday. Just trying to get these off to the side. There's like some little fluffy parts with these. I think they were in like the middle. Let's see if I can show you. There's like little fluffy parts that I think were in the middle of the flower. Alright. That should be plenty of flowers. Okay. I'll grab some smaller petals actually. It's nice to have like a mix in sizes. It's the same thing again about like the different textures and things. It's just nice to have a mix. There's a little leaf here. Let's grab a little leaf as well. That's always nice. Always nice to have some different foliage. Alright. So now we're going to add our little purple flowers here. I am still thinking about how I want to do the fog in these. Like I said, I was originally thinking of trying to like swirl a thing in here, but because of how the stones are, I could wait until the resin is really thick, and that would hopefully help keep everything in place. And I do plan on having this clear, apart from where I'm going to add the little bit of like fog. So, you know, that hopefully help keep things in place. You know, it might actually be better. So, again, my choices that I'm thinking of are either to add clear, add a little bit of the semi-translucent, and then add more clear and let it kind of displace. Or to do all clear and then have a little bit of the pigment on like a stir stick here and then swirl it through. I'm trying to think of which one will displace all of our moss and little stones and everything the least. You know, I want those to stay where they are. And I'm not sure, because if I try to do it where I do a resin and then I pour more resin to try and displace it, it might displace all of these items. And then if I'm trying to swirl it in with this, I might hit something and drag it up. I kind of think I want to try swirling it in with this though, because I think I will have more control over it. So even if I do knock something out of place, I could probably push it back into place with that. Whereas I won't have as much, control if I do it the other direction. All right, let's try adding some of these flowers. I'm just kind of dipping them in a little tiny bit of the UV resin. We're gonna, that's not where I want that. It's supposed to go in the mold. I'm just gonna try and attach some of them in here, kind of coming out of the moss and the rocks. And I probably want, you know, a different number in each one, different sizes and everything. But I do want some in each of them, just so they all match. Alright, there's one. Let me see if I can get maybe a smaller one in here too. Oh, there we go. That's a good size. Normally, these are dice. Yes, they're going to be Fate Fudge dice. Fate dice, Fudge dice. So they have little pluses and minuses on them. I think like this. They're going to be like this one that has the pluses and the minuses on them. That does remind me that I did... some people may be excited about this. I know a couple of people have mentioned wanting to see this. I did finally order masters for big chunky dice, so like the bigger versions. So I can start doing some stuff with like big D20s, big D6s, that sort of thing. Okay, stay over there. Which is exciting. It'll be a little bit for to come in and I have them all sanded and everything. I don't want it sticky there, I want it sticky on the bottom. Alright. I don't order the molds, I actually make my own molds, but the masters for them, I make my own molds. The dice, so I order so masters, so like 3D printed versions of my dice. So like these. So like I got these and then I spent 8 hours polishing them all. I really did spend 8 hours. It was kind of crazy. Did not realize that it had been 8 hours. But hello, not name brand. So I ordered these from a company, sent them my logo and said, hey, can you print that on there? Polished those and then I make my own molds. That's part of the reason I have, what's in here? So much silicone. Oh, I have so much silicone. Here's part 1. I have part 2 over here too. But that's what I was talking about that earlier. Oh god. Okay, have a safe drive, Jen. No, that's what I was saying earlier. Every other week, I spend Monday and Tuesday making molds. So I have a bunch of molds over here. That's all my dice molds and a few other things I've made. And they're kind of a pain to make. It's not my favorite thing. Some people like making molds. It's not really my thing. But, yeah. So I'm getting a set like those clear dice that I just showed you. I'm getting a set like that I ordered from the same place that I got those. and then I will have to sand them and polish them, and then I will be making molds for them. So it's going to be a whole process, which is why it's not going to be anytime soon that I'll actually be able to make, oops, I have that upside down. They'll actually be able to make the dice, but I did order stuff for it, which is exciting. Okay, there's one there. Come on, get stuck to my tweezers. There we go. And then let's add like one more big one, I think, up in the corner here, and that'll be nice. That could be too tall. No, I think that'll be good. That'll be perfect. And I want to put this under the light again. Normally it'd be best to do this with clear molds, but I've kind of stuck with the just the teal colored one. The reason I have stuck with this type of silicone, there's lots of different kinds of silicone. The reason that I've stuck with this kind of silicone is because it has a long work time to it. And so it gives me lots of time to actually pour the molds, which is very useful. With the blue foil. Blue foil? Which ones did I do last time? Which ones did I do last time? Oh, those ones. Here, just a second. So here, I've had those going for a while now. Here, these are not polished. I just sanded these earlier today. I do like the color of the molds, that's true, Saigai. These are not polished. These are kind of matte at the moment because I just sanded them, but they did turn out better, so I do actually have all of them done now, which is good. I've been working on this set for a while now. I just have not been able to get all of them to cooperate with me, but now I at least have, I actually have 5 that are good, so that's exciting. That's good. I'll get those polishing tonight. Was that the first time or the second time that I'd run that? I don't know. Let's run that one more time. Cool. I'll have to put my, while that's doing that, let me grab my plants down and put these away, because I'm going to need my tray here to put all my stuff on. So you can come see my container of things that I've dried or pressed myself. There we go. All sorts of interesting stuff in there. Here I have like some bugs there, some feathers, all sorts of random things. But I need to put these things away so they don't get crushed. Make sure I put them in the right spot. It's not really the right spot necessarily, because you know I'm the one that organized these, but so that I can find them again in the future. Alright, these go in here. And this stuff actually goes up here. Cool. Get all that stuff away. I really like this box too. I originally got it, the box itself, I think I got it from like a craft store, but I originally got it because I was thinking of using it for like, you know, bazaars or craft shows and stuff for items to sell. I used to have all of my dried plants and bugs and stuff in like just a shallow box that was sitting over here. And they were there until I had, oh, come on, sit. I had a cat hop up and completely knock stuff everywhere. And then I was just like, okay, we're gonna go use this box that has a lid. That way the cats can't get to it. The cats usually aren't allowed in here all that much anyways, but unless supervised. I've mentioned this before. I'm gonna run this one more time just because I don't. I'm gonna do it at an angle too, because it's not clear. I want to try and make sure I get everything cooked. The only, somewhat ironically, the only cat that I really allow in here without me holding is not the kitten. The kitten's the only one that I really allow in here, and that's because she causes the least trouble in here. Like she's content to just go like sit on the chair at the table behind me, or come sit in my lap while I work on stuff. And all the other cats want to either climb on stuff that I really don't want them to, or try and chew on stuff that I really don't want them to, try to bat things off the table, or come and sit in the middle of whatever I'm working on. Just like, of course. Alright, I think we've got all of our, well, actually we don't necessarily have all of our moss and everything on the way. So we've got those all put together, which is exciting. So the only things left on that one is we're going to do a thin layer of like a gray or a stone sort of color in the bottom of this. And we're going to do a kind of a swirl of some sort of fog in these ones. For tonight, anyways. This one's going to get a mountain and stuff in it. So many pictures of your cat sitting on your sewing projects. Yeah. Okay. So let me move this one a little bit back and out of the way. Move this over here for now. And we're probably, let me think, we'll probably use like our white, no, I'm not going to. I was thinking of using the white alcohol ink for the fog in this. I think I'm actually going to use my white resin pigment, just because it's actually slightly less opaque. And it's more gray. It's not gray, but I think it'll translate as more gray, which fog kind of feels. It isn't gray, but I think it'll kind of translate like that, which is kind of the vibe I feel like kind of matches. So we're gonna go with that, and actually I'll use that. That works out perfectly. Move those off to the side because you don't need those. All right, for the octopus dice. Let's see how things will fit in here. So I do have these so that the 6 is up. I want the highest number up. There's a couple reasons for that. Number 1, if I'm adding things, like the polymer clay I know is slightly heavier than the resin. If I add seashells, I know that those are heavier than the resin. I'd rather these be weighted, things you're going to sink to the bottom. So I'd rather things be weighted so that the highest number is going to land on top as opposed to the lowest number. These shouldn't be weighted. Like, no dice is perfectly weighted, but like these, these shouldn't be terribly weighted. But even just that little tiny fraction of difference in weight, rather, be in your favor. And also, I just think it's going to be easiest for me to figure out how things should be placed if I'm placing the octopi right side up. And I figure that you probably want them to be right side up when you have the highest number on top. So it looks like those will probably fit. I need to start. Do I play D&D? I have played D&D since I was a child. I don't really at the moment, just because of quarantine, all that. I can't pay attention to playing it like online. But I do have a D&D group that I was a part of before quarantine and everything. Hopefully we'll get back together once everyone can get their shots and everything. It would be nice. It's been a while. But no, I've played D&D since I was a kid. I grew up playing 2nd edition D&D. My family would play it together every once in a while. You just finished the session a few minutes ago. Also, hello Nerd Holla. How did the session go? Hi, Mother of Rats. Wow, everybody's here tonight. How did the session go, Nerd Holla? And then what was my character? I mean, when I was growing up, I would always play like an elf ranger. When I was growing up, my mom would always play a human cleric. I would always play an elf ranger. I think my brother would normally play like a dwarf fighter. Something like that. Yeah. You're in hell so badly. Okay, yeah, that would put a damper on things. That makes sense. How are you doing tonight, Mother of Rats? I'm glad you could pop by. No, but now though, my most recent characters, we had kind of a couple games going on because we had like a one shot that turned into a more shot, which I think is something that normally happens. And for that one, I'm playing a paladin character that I've played before, and she's really fun. And for the, like, we were doing Curse of Strahd, I was playing a gnome artificer, which was fun too. A little bit different. I've never played an artificer before. I guess there's plenty of class and races that I haven't played. But you play a telepathic goblin sorcerer named Pink Eye. She has a bottomless bag of glitter that she thinks is plague powder. Oh man, does it give people pink eye? Because you know, it's 5 a.m. in France. Just woke up. Ooh, about to make resin dice soon. C'est bien. I'm doing good. I'm figuring out how I want to place these octopi in here. Because I'm debating. Half of your party is usually covered in a layer of glitter. Oh dear. If you do ever have any like questions or anything on making dice, feel free to message me, Mother of Rats, because I'm always excited to see what people are making. Okay, there's a couple of options. For these dice, we want to have the octopi. Words. We want some seaweed with them, and so I have a couple of options. I have, I don't know, practice. I didn't start out being good at this necessarily. It's weird. I feel like I haven't been doing this very long, but at the same time I look back on it and I'm like, oh, I've been doing this more than 6 months. And then I've been working with resin for like a couple of years. So, I don't know. I just kind of mix random things together. I think some of it's just practice. Like at this point I kind of know how the resin behaves. And so I kind of know what I can and can't do with it. Make a deal with any of the articles. What is the resin that I use? I just use Art and Glow. It's kind of a thicker resin. Some people like that, some people don't. But it's rather viscous. So, Miss Messy, do you use liquid diamonds? You the one that use liquid diamonds? I haven't tried it out yet, but it's like a much thinner resin. That's true. The pressure pot is very useful. Liquid diamonds, yeah. I haven't worked with liquid diamonds, but it's very, very thin. And then I use Art and Glow, which is very, very thick. And I like the thicker resin for what I do. I have a pressure pot, so I don't have a big issue with lots of bubbles. The pressure pot, basically, I put it in there and I put all of it under like a really high pressure, and it pushes on all of those bubbles until they're really, really, really small and you can't see them. So since I have a thick resin, air likes to get trapped in it, but that kind of prevents that from being an issue. But I like it thick because a lot of the things that I like to like make, you know, I want to like suspend things in the resin, and that's easier when it's a little bit thicker. If it's really thin, things like to sink more. And there's pros and cons. There's certain designs that just don't work out great for me. But, you know, Don't ask me to try and, well, I mean, you could ask me to try and do Petri dice. Yes, the rainbow dice were finished. Those over here. They're finally done. Pull out a few of them. Yeah, these took so long because of how many layers, but I'm pretty happy with them. Yeah, since there was like 7 layers here, and I let it cure in between all of them, it took forever. But I'm pretty happy with how they turned out with all the layers. Alright, let me put those away. Bubbles are your enemies. Oh, yeah. I mean, I started out without a pressure pot. I did jewelry and stuff before. Not like a lot of it, but you know, a little bit of it. All without a pressure pot. But now that I have one, I wouldn't want to go back, just because I feel like it really makes the things that I'm making look good. I should do more jewelry. That's something I want to get back into, is making more, like branching out and doing more jewelry, because I've been doing the little mushroom necklaces, like it's kind of hard to see with the mushrooms in them, but I want to start branching out and do some other necklaces and stuff too. It's been a while. I've been doing all I go back. Well, thank you, Miss Missy. Roll an attack against the bubbles. Just because it's fun. I like doing lots of different things. I've been doing a lot of dice, and I kind of want to try doing some other things. I think I want to do, Kefir, before I go back to like jewelry, I kind of want to try doing like keycaps. I think that's something I might try and do. The dice I showed was very nice. Oh, thanks. Just a second, the nail on my thumb is all rough. Custom keycaps is a hot market right now. Yeah, I mostly do runes and dice holders. Yeah. Trying, bubbles always win. So many keyboard streamers are looking. I have a friend that was talking about making a custom keyboard too, and was just like, yes, you should do that. I want to try and make some of my own molds for them, and so I want to make like masters for them. I just got a Resin 3D printer. I was trying to get it to print the other day, and it was frustrating me, so I gave up for a little while. But that's one of, the first things I think I want to try and get printed accurately and everything. Hi, Fitz. Oh, he's so sad out there. Yes, I feel like keycaps kind of falls in the same vein as dice. Oh, I guess most of you weren't here when I brought the kitty in before. Should we do a quick kitty break? We can do a quick kitty break. Show off the kitty cat. Alright, just a second. We'll see if I can wrangle him. He probably wants me to follow him and not actually come in. Wait, I think I can lure him. Want this, buddy? Want this? Come here. Come here. Come get it. Ah, I got you. I got you. Haha, I lured him with the toy he threw under the door. Buddy, come say hi to all of your adoring fans. No, you're not running off, buddy. This is Fitz. Oh, he's purring now. Yeah, you a happy boy. Oh, buddy. Buddy, right here. There we go. Now we can see the baby. There's Fitz. Okay. You ready to head back out? Ready to head back out? Oh, you're a good boy. You're purring. Okay, bye-bye. Have fun. Here, wait. Here. Go get it. I have a weakness for tuxedo cats, too. I can't lie. He wants me to go play with him. He keeps knocking. He will play fetch with hair ties. Like one of my hair. Not very well. I have another cat that'll play fetch too, and she's much better at actually bringing the ball back. He just wants to go run after it and then not actually bring it back. He's so sad. He's so sad out there. Oh, buddy. I'm working on stuff. I gotta figure out my seaweed. And if I want to use... Do I want to use my moss here? Or do I want to use like little painted ones? So and do I want to use seashells? So I know people have done dice with like sand and seashells and all sorts of stuff in them. And the reason that I don't, even though they look beautiful, is that I try to make dice that are weighted as well as possible. And like, I know that if I put sand into the die, that's just a bunch of rocks. It's gonna weight the dice. And I'm kind of worried about that with these seashells too. If I put something heavier in dice, I usually try to center it as much as possible. But, oh, I love using moss too. That's what we just put a whole bunch of into this set. It's a whole bunch of different moss and stuff. But with our little octopi here, I'm just debating if I want to do. If I do these and just finish. Oh, I want to do dice with like. I want to do graveyard dice. Ah, that sounds cool. That does sound cool. I'd love to. Moss is bad for the balance of the dice. I feel like moss isn't as big of an issue just because it's not going to take up a lot of space. It's mostly air that resin is going to fill in. Yeah, it's very, very light, which could, if something's very, very light, it could also make it so that it's not going to be weighted well if it's, all at the top. But it's usually not all. It's mostly air that is then getting filled in with resin, so it's not actually going to be super different in density once it comes down to it, because it's mostly going to be resin still. And it might, it might affect the weighting a little bit, but probably not enough to cause anything major. But that is why I made little rocks out of polymer clay and didn't use actual rocks for this set here. Because I do know that polymer clay is a little bit heavier than resin, so these dice are probably going to be weighted a little bit, but they're not going to be weighted nearly as much as if I used actual rocks in them. But yes. What I was saying though is I don't know which I want to use. Here's the conundrum. Here's my conundrums. Ooh, your keyfish dice are shipping soon. Ooh. I'd love to see photos. So two different things. Number one. Oh, hi Jen. Glad you drove safe. Drove safe. Sword drawn and lazily splayed upon a futon. Excellent. As one should after a long day. Cool. What is the hardest thing about making dice? Different people would probably say different things. When I was first starting, I'd probably say sanding. Remembering your PPE. No, I'm usually pretty good about that. To be fair, when I first started using resin, I was not good at that. But at this point, I'm good at remembering to wear my respirator and gloves. No, when I was first like starting out, I think probably sanding. At this point, I think I've got it figured out. It still takes a long time, but I have it kind of figured out. I mean, now, See, I don't particularly like making sanding is your mortal enemy. Like, I don't really mind it at this point. It's just something I have to do. It's not like the most exciting thing, but it is something where I can like put on a movie and just sit here and sand stuff. So it's not like super terrible. Mold making I actually find more annoying than sanding. I think it takes more brain power. Making molds takes more brain power. There's a lot more steps. I think the thing that is hardest for me, and probably won't be hardest for you or other people, is remembering to like slow down and plan out ideas. Oh, sanding. Taking. Here, let me show you. So when I take the dice out, it has kind of like some extra resin and stuff around here. You see how I have like little extra pieces? There's a lip. I need to like get rid of that. So I take. I'll show you. I have like a wheel for this that helps. But I'll take that, and with a little bit of water and this paper, I'll do that until it gets rid of all of that extra. I don't know what that is in French. Oops. Yeah, well, masters and everything especially can take a long time. That's part of the reason that I got a thing for help for polishing. So, you know, sanding is wearing all the stuff down, and then polishing it is making it shiny again. And so I have a tumbler that has little pieces of wood in it, and I put polish in there. Yeah, I have like a rock tumbler. I'll probably show you. Just sitting over here. You can see one of them there. You see the wheel that I have there, and there's one of the tumblers there. I have like wood and polish in there. Oops. And that takes a few days. I leave them in there for a few days, and it polishes them up. I still use the polishing paper up to like the 3rd or something. I'll do the first 3 roughest grits. Well, it's great because that's probably what I am worst at. Oh, I saw what you did too, Melissa. I still think Boson should open up a business, because I know that they're really good at polishing things. What was I saying? Oh, Miss Messy. Part of the reason I got a tumbler and stuff is because I'm not good at polishing things. Like, they don't end up looking all that nice. I end up with like a whole bunch of micro scratches and stuff. And so just being able to throw them into the tumbler, and that, you know, works out a lot of all of those tiny scratches and stuff, and they end up super, super shiny. It's so nice, because I'm just not great at it. That's part of the reason I have 2 over there. I just bought a second one recently. Sorry, I'm clipping down my fingernail because it was very rough. Okay. Oh dear. There was a picture of it, I think, on my... Was it on the Discord? I think it was on the Discord. I think there was a picture of Not Named Brands, very sad masters. But yeah, sanding's one of those things where I think it gets easier over time. It just, oh, did you do both of them? I saw one of them where you sanded too much. Okay, guys, I do actually need to figure out whether I want to use... Okay, 2 things I need to figure out. 1, I need to stop getting distracted. 1, do I actually want to use seashells? These are the worst of the 2. Okay. Do I actually want to use seashells? So it's something I want to try and use, even though it might weight the dice a little bit. And then, even though it might weight the dice a little bit. And then, well, part of it, well, normally I would try to center them a bit, Jen. And these would end up kind of on the bottom. I know that they're going to end up, it's going to be heavier than the other things. So I may or may not do seashells. And then the second thing is, do I want to use... Oh. Alright, we'll see you in a moment. Do I want to use like a moss to look like seaweed, or do I want to use little little painted ones? Because here's what I'm thinking. If I do use seashells, I think the moss would be better, because those are both kind of natural things. If I don't use seashells, I kind of think that the painted ones would be better, because the octopi are kind of cartoony, and I feel like that would kind of match. I guess that's really where I'm at. So let me just kind of see how this would look. Let me just think here. Let's try putting a seashell in here. Okay, so I don't know if the seashells... I don't know if they're adding too much. Oops, I just added a whole bunch of cat hair though. Okay, I don't necessarily like the layout of this, but let me just think about this. I see, I could use that and then like a little bit of this. Let me just kind of throw these in here for now, just to give kind of like a base idea of what we're looking at. I almost feel like I need a... I have gotten all of my masters from Revel Broker on Etsy. They've been great to work with. I would recommend. They've been really great about doing like working with me on like some custom stuff too. That's where I got my Fate dice masters. They didn't have an option for it, but I reached out to them and said, hey, would it be possible to get dice with pluses and minuses on them? And they were super helpful in getting like a design made and everything too. Yeah, super great to work with. Compared to other masters, not super expensive, which is part of the reason that I went with them. And also they do remove all the supports and sand them down to like an 800 grit before mailing them to you. That was why I originally went with them, is because I didn't have to try and remove the supports and everything myself, which a lot of other places did have. And it was like slightly less expensive than some of the other places, but the quality on them has been great. So, and they've been very easy to work with. Okay, so it helps any of the dice are going to be for very casual use. Oh, hi. Okay. That excellent. Do you have a preference between the... I know you said that I should do whichever I want. Do you have a preference between the cartoony seaweed and the more natural seaweed? That's the big thing I think that I'm coming down to is between the moss and so like do something with moss and seashells and stuff in there, or doing like kind of a mix of like little flat seaweed. I'd cut these out, of course. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to, is whether I want to go more, do we want to go more cartoony or a little bit more real world? Even though the octopi are obviously a little cartoony, but with the other stuff. Okay, I am going to take these out. What's the name again? Revel Broker. Here, let me, I'll type in. There we go. That's the name. I mean, yeah, I can't talk about getting distracted by other things. I've been trying to figure out which kind of seaweed I want to use for the past hour. I think either way, I won't do seashells in all of them. I think I'll just do like 3. You like the moss? You just like the moss in general. Well, let's go with the moss then. I think if we do the seashells, the moss will be nice. I think I'm not going to do seashells in all of them, but let's see what we've got. I do have a big bag or 2 of seashells. And then I have a couple of different kinds of moss. So I can use those. Hello, welcome back, mother of rats. I've got a few seashells here. Oh, here's a little tiny one. That one's cute. Yeah, I kind of want to go for some smaller ones. I kind of want to go for some ones that are, you know, different. That might be a little bit big, but I'm going to pull it out because it's thin and kind of cute. I was kind of hoping for one of those like flat ones. You're beatboxing at your mailbox. I mean, as long as it amuses you, Jen. That's the important thing, right? Are there any? See, I want one. I'd love to have one that's, you know, one of these kinds, but small. Let me see what I've got in here. Oh, wait, I think I found some little tiny ones. Excellent. This is what I was looking for, with some different shaped ones. That actually looks like, is that a barnacle? Look at that little tiny barnacle. All right. All right. Oh, wait, look how tiny this shell is. Look how tiny that shell is. It's so small. I think that's a little bit smaller than I want, actually. Well, I mean, nah, I'll throw it over here. We may or may not use it. Opihi? Opie? I don't know what that means. Is that a type of sea creature? Alright, pull out a few different ones. We're not going to use all of these, but now we have some options. Alright, let me pull out all of our moss here. I do want to think about this. Opihi. Oh, okay. They're like little shells that stick to rocks at the beach in Hawaii. You can eat their meat. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, okay. They might be. It's possible they are. I don't know. All right, let's get our stuff figured out for these. There's not really a bottom to these dice. There is a bottom, but I wasn't planning on putting any like dirt or sand or anything in them. So the seaweed is gonna look. Explain us why you bite a little piece off your dice, please. Both things you've been expecting are arriving this Saturday, and the beatboxing intensifies. I'm just imagining, for some reason, Jen, you just sitting out in the dark next to your mailbox beatboxing. And I imagine your mailbox looking like mine, which is just like a mailbox in front of a house. Just in the dark. I'm just imagining you there for like the next 3 days though, while you wait for things to arrive. Like a neighbor drives by and you're just sitting out there, just staring. You got one of those little porch mailboxes. Oh, okay. Sitting out on the porch makes more sense than mine, which is like at the end of my driveway. I have to walk down my driveway. Slob squatting by him. I haven't seen Scott Pilgrim. It's one of those ones that I know of, but I haven't seen. Or read? Isn't that like a comic too? Okay. So, what I was saying is that there's no real, like, ocean floor here, so these are just going to be kind of floating in space, which might look a little funky. We'll see. I'm just debating whether I want to... Do I want to try and dunk these things in resin and then place them in? I just worry that there's going to be enough of them that it's going to be kind of a pain. So, like, quite often for stuff, I would, oh, you know what I could do? Oh, you know what I could do for all of these that might look really cute? What if I had all of the seaweed coming out of the shells, and then I had the octopus above them? Oh, I kind of like that idea. I'm going to grab my UV resin again. So I'm going to try attaching. We'll try this with one and see how it looks. But I think that would be a good way of making it so that the seaweed doesn't look like it's just floating by itself. Like, obviously, in actuality, you wouldn't necessarily have seaweed growing out of a shell. But I think for composition, it will make it so that the seaweed looks like it's actually attached to something. Oh dear. For those who have not seen the masters that Not Named Brand is talking about, they were working on sanding their masters and like completely sanded off one side way too far. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna add a little bit UV resin right on the inside here. I just want these to attach. Get this out of the way. Okay, let me get... Where's that other piece? Here's the other piece. Yeah, I think that's gonna look much better. So it obviously, let me how do I know a mold is filled enough with resin? Well, in the case of the molds that I use, I actually overfill them a little bit. So I will fill them up all the way to the top, and then I will actually dome it a little bit. Not like a ton, but just a little bit of extra. And that's because, and I'll actually put a little bit on the lid as well. And there's going to be, you know, a bit of extra resin in there. And that's because, again, I put these into a pressure pot. And so when all of those bubbles get pushed down really, really small, and all of those the air bubbles in there get crushed, I need some resin to fill in the space where those air bubbles were. And so I need a little bit of extra resin to you know, that can fill in that space. So, in the case of like the dice though, it's easier to tell, you know, kind of how much you need because you just kind of fill up the, oh, UV resin. Oh, you're saying like, how do I know how much UV resin to use? In this case, I'm not trying to fill it. I'm just trying to use a little tiny bit to just kind of attach things. I'm not trying to, I don't need it to be super strong or anything. I just need it strong enough that the things will stay like in there. And I actually think that this is going to work better. Let me show you what I did. I now have like moss and stuff coming out of these seashells. And that way, when I put them into the molds here, it'll hopefully not look like all of that stuff is just floating around by itself. So we'll have kind of that seashell with the moss, and then we'll have our octopus here. Oh yes, I am using UV resin. I don't use UV resin for like the dice themselves, but yes, it'll probably be easy. It'll be easier to see once I start mixing and pouring. Oh, you mean how do I know how much I need to mix? Because that one is, I have kind of a way that I've figured that out, but some of it's been trial and error. Now I want to make it so that the octopus here looks like it's interacting with the stuff. But yes, the resin that I use for the dice is what was Sneaky Genius? What? I don't remember what I was just saying. The UV resin I use for like little things, so like attaching things that I want to attach fairly quickly, or filling in small voids and stuff. And then let's flip that around. Let's have that to its back. And then I use 2-part resin for like the bigger things. No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to use things. I don't know what. I realize that English isn't your first language, so I was like, I don't know what words they know or not. To be fair, some of it is just because of like the delay too. Yeah, I know. I don't know other languages. I know a minimal amount of French. I did take French in high school a long time ago. I know enough French to say that I don't understand French. Yeah, no, just knowing a second language is awesome. And obviously I'm probably talking really fast because English is my first language. Yeah, if you don't understand something though, just tell me. I'm happy to try and explain things in different words. What I was saying though too is that sometimes it can get confusing because there's a little bit of a delay. So there's time in between when I say something and then when you hear it. And so sometimes I'll say something and then you'll type it or someone else will type something and I will have already started talking about something else. And then I read it and I'm just like, what is that? What is that about? Because I've already forgotten what I was talking about. So I think we'll do that with some more shells. I think I like that. Yeah, so we'll do that with some more shells. Now, I've definitely got it easy because a lot of things on the internet are... Oh, yes, the way that I figured out how much resin I need per set, and I really should do this again for some different things, is I went and poured water into my molds, and then I poured that into a cup that had measurements on it. So, you see that has how many milliliters I need. So I poured water in these, and then I poured that out into here. And that told me how much it held. And then I made sure that it dried completely. You know, I don't want any water in there. It will make it so that the resin doesn't cure. You use that technique too? Cool! Alright. Let's try making another one of these. I feel like maybe I saw someone else do it. If it makes you feel better, not name brand. I feel like I saw it somewhere. A lot of things that I do were not my idea originally. There are no new ideas under the sun. I think that's the old saying, right? Alright, let's try adding some more. Oh, you always make way too much or not enough. I do that too, especially when I'm doing stuff like this. I know that a full set of like a full set of the 7-piece sets of dice with all the different shapes takes about 30 milliliters. It takes almost exactly 30 milliliters. But I don't really know how much like an individual D20 takes, and I know that like 4 D6s takes between 15 and 20 milliliters, but I don't know exactly. It's like 16 milliliters, 16.5. It gets a little bit dicey when I start doing the individual pieces like this, and I usually end up with way too much or just not enough as well. It's an issue I have as well. It can be hard to judge. That's part of the reason I'm thinking of trying to do like another. It gets dicey. Oh, boo, boo, boo. Okay. Wait. I have something for this. There we go. Wait, did I say it gets dicey? Did I say that? Oh no. Did I say it without even realizing it? I need to bonk myself on the head with a cardboard tube. Yeah. Is there a word, what's the word for like, what would be the word for that in French, do you know? I guess it's one of those things that like most people wouldn't need to say in another language. I feel like hello, how are you, that sort of stuff people would probably learn more than like technical things, which I guess sanding is. Poncer? Wait, I should do it in Poncer. But I'm saying poncer. In Spanish, it's liar. Lijar. See, poncer. Like I said, I know a minimal amount of French. Je comprends un peu de français. The J sounds like an H. Iljar. I probably pronounced the H way too much, though. It's funny, we have a fairly large Hispanic population here, and I know more French. See, See, this is fun. We're just having all of our multilingual fun. I need to call up my friend that knows a little bit of French, and a little bit of Chinese, and a little bit of Korean. Your approximate understanding of Spanish had your neck turn. It probably would have been smart for me to do Spanish in high school instead of French, because it would be very useful in the location that I'm in. A lot more people speak Spanish here than they do French, but French was fun. Even if I remember very little of it. Don't ask me to conjugate anything. Okay, there's another one of those. Alright. I'm going to do another one of these. I might have to pull out some more, I might actually do seashells in all of these. If I'm going to use them as a way to kind of hold the, if I'm going to use them as a kind of way to, hold, oh, what was I going to say? If I'm going to use them as a way to hold all of the seaweed, okay, so also, I'm assuming by Midwest you mean in the U.S. Did I get any of that in there? And let's see. Forgot everything about your Spanish class. See, that's what I'm saying, though, mother of rats. Probably the amount of Spanish that you know is probably the amount of French that I know. I'll probably refrain from trying to do any more French so I don't embarrass myself. Yes, huge reason you love road trips. I was just thinking that Midwest might not translate to someone who doesn't live in the U.S. Same way that, if I said I was from the Pacific Northwest, I guess that'd kind of make sense, because, the Pacific Ocean and all that, but people who aren't in the U.S. might not realize what that means. Alright, I'm going to grab a few more. I don't know. I don't know about that. I took a few semesters of French in college, and we're getting pretty decent at it, but never used it, so you forgot basically all of it. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is whether you, continue to use things or not. I bet if, I suddenly moved to France, which I don't plan on doing it. You're saying it won't translate? Oh, gosh. Okay, now that that's done. That one's gonna be a little bit too big, I think. What was this? Oh, thanks for following, Idolatrist. There's a lot of places to go on road trips in the U.S. I once took I feel like maybe it doesn't really translate how big the United States is sometimes. I once took a 12-hour bus ride to go 2 states over. Yeah, the only place I've been outside of the United States has been Canada, now that I'm thinking about it. The United States is really just a bunch of... The United States is a bunch of countries in a trench coat. Let's be real here. I thought I had... Did I just have 2 done? Oh, it's under here. Let me make this one more time. You want to go to Canada? Beautiful area. Beautiful area. I don't live too far from there, so... It's been a long time, though, and I don't know if my passport's still good. It might still be good. I've never been to Mexico, though, so... It evens out. But no, I did once spend 12 hours on a bus going 2 states over. Come and visit in Europe. I'd love to go to Europe. There's so many places over there I'd love to go. And I'd love to go to France, too. I don't know necessarily where. Like, I feel like most people want to go to Paris, but there's so many other beautiful places that are probably more interesting. The problem is, of course, that you have nice food. So many types of cheese. Oh, man, I bet my brother would love France. He loves trying all sorts of different food. You have a couple friends near Toronto, and you're hoping you can drive up as soon as this panini is under control. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I do look forward to hanging out with people again. I look forward to hanging out with people again once we all have our shots and all of that. All right, let's start figuring out another one of these. So the reason I keep putting this back in the box is because I don't want to harden all of this resin with my light. All right. Yes, that'll be nice. No, yeah. A panini is a type of sandwich, but in this case, they're just using it as a replacement word for like the quarantine and the coronavirus. I was just amused because it's just a type of sandwich. It's like a sandwich that you put on like a grill or like a press. It's kind of like a waffle sandwich. So yeah, I was basically like saying, once this sandwich is all over, it's just random. Oh, you love panini here? I guess that does, panini sounds Italian? Is panini Italian? It sounds Italian. Yeah, you know. Ah, they have Nice food. Yes, yes. Sorry. I got distracted thinking about France. I like French food. I haven't had like food from France. That's part of the reason I'd love to. I think I would love to travel to France just for the food. But we did have, when I took French, we did do a couple of recipes, French recipes. Oh, I think part of the reason I liked them is because they had good, I don't know how to describe it. It's flavors that we would have in very sweet things, but without as much sugar. So like we had like orange bread, where in like American cooking, if you had orange bread, it would be very, very sugary. It'd be very much a dessert. Whereas in the recipe that we had, it was bread that tasted like oranges. And it was just very good. All right, let's do another one of these. Wait, did I? I didn't even bake this one, did I? Just a second. I didn't remember to do that. One of your bosses at the last place you worked was from Lyon. We always bring French food for lunch. It was all so good. Yeah. I remember in high school, we had a couple of French foreign exchange students. I didn't know any of them, but in the yearbook, so the thing that had like all the school photos and everything in it, they asked all of the foreign exchange students, like, what did they miss most from home? And I just remember being amused at the fact that all of the French foreign exchange students said that they missed the food from France the most. Just like, yeah. Let me tell you only once anyway. How long would it take you to travel there, though? Sorry, I'm still thinking about the fact that I once took a 12-hour bus ride to 2 states over. I feel like everything's just so big here. I'm thinking of like all of the stories. Oh, you're from Toulouse. Oh, okay. I've heard of Toulouse. Oh, 6 hours, but okay, so it'd be a bit of a drive. It'd be a bit of a drive. I guess I'm trying to think about how big France is, because I don't really know. I haven't really thought about it. I'm thinking about like every once in a while I'll see something where like someone from like Britain and America are talking, and like the person from Britain is just like, oh man, a half-hour car ride, that's way too long. And the person from the US is just like, that's my commute. What are you talking about? You know most of your French geography from following League One. I'm assuming that's a game of some sort. Oh, it's their football league. Oh, I'm out of tea. That's kind of funny. Yeah, okay. It's always strange things, isn't it? It's always strange things. It reminds me of a story I heard about someone who was playing, was it Assassin's Creed? It takes place, where does that take place? It takes place in like Rome or something. Something like that. I don't remember. I haven't played the game, but it was a story about how they'd been playing a video game, and they went on a trip with, I think, their family, and they got lost, and they knew exactly where to go because the layout, the originals are all in Italy. Yeah, they knew exactly where to go because they had played the game so much. They knew all of the side streets and everything because it was exactly the same. Oh, you're actually from a French Caribbean island called La Martinique. So France is big for you. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see how that'd be a big shift. La Martinique. Oh yes, thanks for hanging out. Oh, thanks for following too. Go have fun with your games and your friend who's gonna. I think you said your friend was gonna stream too. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. And I'll be sure to send photos once I have things out of the mold. Alright, let's get our next one figured out. So that's 5 of them done. Let me start adding these to the molds so we can get these all situated. I don't know I'm doing that. Alright. So do I want to try, I think now also that I have these in kind of just 2 pieces, it will be much easier to dunk them in the resin and put them in the molds. And then, yeah, dunk them in the resin and then put them in the molds, which will be useful because it will hopefully prevent some air bubbles. So even though I have a pressure pot, I still don't want too many air bubbles, because if I have really big air bubbles, they won't get pushed down really small. And that can cause big... Okay, thanks for stopping by, Frog with a Black Hat. Yeah, you go get some sleep. Man, 5:20 a.m. Yeah. Have a good night, or morning, as it were. Oops. No, if there's really big air bubbles in here, they... You guys are neighbors. Okay, we need to do one more. Now let's do another slightly larger one because I have a slightly larger one here and I want to kind of even that out. Okay. What was I just saying? I don't remember what I was just saying, guys. Oh, big bubbles. I don't want big bubbles in here. The little ones are fine, they'll get pushed down, but if there's a whole bunch of bubbles or if there's some big bubbles, I won't have enough resin to fill in all of that space. And so I'll end up with big gaps, which is not something I want. The little bubbles are fine, but big gaps, not really what I'm going for. Yeah, bye! Alright, let's see here. If I can get this to work. Alright, let's get some of this other moss in there as well. I kind of have two different kinds that I'm using. Here, I'll show you once I get it in here, and I'll show off what's going on in these again. Get a slightly longer piece maybe. I'm just gonna nuke that. Must be very delicate to do. It is a little bit. It's very useful to have tweezers. When I'm working at this scale, well, you said you were working to make dice as well, right, Mother of Rats? It was you that was talking about that earlier? There's lots of different things you can do when it comes to dice. Like, I find tweezers very useful because I like doing a lot of the kind of small little pieces in here, but you know, not everybody does that. You know, when I do, you know, dice that are just a whole bunch of glitter and color, it's not as big of a deal. But when I'm trying to place things, very, very useful. All right. Oh, you bought the mold only. It'll be your first time. What sort of stuff do you usually do? I must say, the fun thing about resin is that even if you don't get a bunch of stuff with it, you can add a lot of different things to resin, and you know, you don't need all of the different colors and the different glitters and stuff. You can use pretty much anything you want in it as long as there's no water. Water will make it so that it doesn't cure right. Okay, I'm gonna set these away. We've got that all set up. So like a lot of, you know, you can go pick flowers from the garden. Make keychains with, oh, okay. Oh, so you you do a lot of stuff with resin already. Make keychains with resin, now you want to make different stuff, but bubbles are ruining everything. Yeah, pressure pots can be a little bit spendy, but if you're gonna stick with doing a lot of resin stuff, I think that's probably a good investment. As far as equipment goes for resin, just in my opinion, especially if it's something that's really annoying you. Let's put these back in here. Actually, do I want to add any tiny second seashells? Let me think about this. Should I do a second seashell on one of these? No, that's gonna be too much. I'm gonna throw these in here. I'd love to see, you have so many things to buy. No, that's fair. Like I said, I know that they can be spendy. I know they can be expensive. So it may not be the first priority. Might not be the most important thing. The initial cost of dice making is pretty expensive. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, depending on what all you're doing. If you're planning on selling them, yes. I hear a kitty cat. Yeah, no, it can be spendy. It can be expensive. No, especially, so, like, I started out, I got the really cheap, so I guess there's a few things that are unavoidable that can get a little spendy. You need some sort of either really good, really open area, or like a respirator, something, because there's fumes. Resin can be a little bit spendy, and then the actual molds and stuff can be spendy. Yeah, because getting a pressure pot is not just getting a pressure pot, it's also getting like an air compressor. So just the combo of those. Got a gas mask. Oh, okay, yeah. It's good to have. Good to have. Okay, I'm going to pull these out. I'm going to pull all of these out. We're actually going to dunk all of these in the resin and then before putting them into the molds. And that will hopefully prevent bubbles. And then for these, dice, I actually want to do like a really, really light blue. And then I think I'm going to do like a little bit of a sparkle. So a little bit of this right here. Very, very, little bit of shimmer to it. Come on, get out of there. So I'm going to move all these out of the way. So we've got all of these, and then let me grab a little cup here. I'm going to add the tiniest Pearl X. I am very lucky in some of my arts and crafts stuff because I inherited a lot of arts and crafts stuff from my grandma, who no longer does it. So like my Pearl X powders and my polymer clay I got from her. So I didn't have to get them myself, but Pearl X powders are very, very pretty. If you want a similar effect to the Pearl X powders, but you want like more of them or something like that, you can just get mica powders. They're basically the same thing. Either mica powders or look up like makeup powders. And I actually got a lot of my mica powders from a soap making company. So if there's a soap making company, you can get a lot of mica powders there. But the Pearl X powders are very, very pretty. I'm just gonna use makeup sometimes. Yeah, it works. It works. So we're gonna use a little tiny bit of this blue, which that's this one. Little tiny bit of this blue. It's actually a little bit more greenish than it appears on camera. Very, very little bit. We just want it to be barely tinted blue so that it looks blue, but you can still tell that the octopi are purple. Still want to be able to tell that this is purple. And then I'm going to add a little bit of shimmer because I feel like that's a nice, kind of underwater feel to it. For these ones, it's just going to be clear with a little bit of the white in there. And this one, okay, I worry this one's going to be weighted a little bit, but I think that'll be okay. So when people, Dude Spade has really nice colors for a few bucks a piece. They're technically automotive paints, but you can get 5-gallon trial sizes for pretty cheap. Oh. You can always get a bad quality eyeshadow palette that doesn't color your skin enough if it works. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point too. Just get really cheap makeup and stuff. When I make custom dice for people, I usually end up sending them like a spare die with it. So when I do the 7-piece sets, I usually end up sending an extra D4, extra 4-sided die. I'll use like leftover resin and stuff, or if I didn't have a whole bunch of leftover, I'll, oh, that reminds me actually. That reminds me. I usually send an extra, when people do commissions, I'll send an extra die, and I'll send a keychain. And that just reminded me because I actually want to make one more of these seashells. I'm going to do that for a keychain because I think, oh wait, I should use my little bottle mold. Where's that? I'm going to use this instead. That's going to be for that one. Let me grab one more seashell. Yeah, so for like the 6-sided dice like this, quite often I'll send another 6-sided die. Maybe doesn't match, but and then for like the fate dice, I'll usually send like an extra die that maybe was with some of the leftover resin and stuff. In this case, I'll probably just send all 4 of these ones that have the moss and the flowers and the one with the mountain. Just makes it easier. But I do want to do set up a keychain for these as well, because I like doing like an extra die and a keychain. I just feel like it's nice. Usually if people order are ordering like custom dice for stuff, usually it's because they're ordering them for something that matters to them, I feel like. I guess that's the way I always kind of think about it. You know, if people are ordering custom dice, they're getting them for a character that's important to them, or a theme that's important to them, or colors that they really like, or something like that. So I feel like a keychain's just kind of nice to have. Alright, I'm gonna make one more of these, and I'm gonna put it in my little bottle mold, which is shaped like, where's the bottles? Where are the little bottles? Oh, here's one. I have a little mold that's shaped like a little bottle. So we're gonna do a little seashell with moss in it in a bottle. Also, I feel like I mean, at this point, it's not really a surprise if you've ordered from me before that you're going to be getting like an extra die and or a keychain. Like I also send extra dice. I send like an extra D4 when people just order dice from me. Even if they're not custom. Just because I think it's fun. Like, I don't know. It's fun getting something random that maybe is like a surprise. It's fun to get a surprise sometimes. So it's not like a big surprise for people who've ordered from me before, but, you know, I feel like it's just kind of fun to get some surprises, too. And I try to send things like extra dice that I'm fairly certain that the person's going to like, because I figure if they're ordering dice, they're not going to complain about. If people are ordering dice, they're probably going to be using dice, so if they get an extra die, it works out. That one might be a little bit long. It's okay. That was something that I was trying. So it's fairly common practice, I think, with handmade items to like send along some sort of little extra treat or something. Like it's just kind of, you know, at least in things that I've ordered, you know, sometimes I'll get stickers or stuff, you know, and it's just kind of fun. But I wanted to send along something that people would actually want or use, not just stuff that, I don't know, was unnecessary or would never get used. And I know that keychains are one of those things that not everybody uses, but like I said, if you're getting custom dice, I kind of assume that you're doing it for some sort of sentimental reason. You're feeling snacky and found cake. I mean, that's a snack, right? If not breakfast. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I'm more of a pie person myself, That was actually, that was what I requested for my birthday. My family has been kind of like a little pod during quarantine. So like I don't live with my parents, but they live in the same town. So like my brother and I who live together and my parents who live across town have still been seeing each other, as well as my grandma. So the 5 of us have still been in contact through quarantine. Just so we can like help my grandma out and all that sort of stuff if we need to. And so we met up for my birthday. That was in the middle of March. And my dad texted me beforehand and was like, is there anything in specific you want for lunch? And I was just like, pie. I want pie. He's like, great, what kind of pie? I'm just like, doesn't matter to me. You like pie better than cake too. Like every once in a while, you know, I can be in a cake mood. But I feel like, I don't know. It's I don't know, it's almost denser or something, I guess. And I do like, I don't know, I like a good like dense donut or something, but it's very strange. I do like baked goods. Alright. Oh, carrot cake. I mean, you put cream cheese frosting on anything and I'm there. Oh, okay, cheesecake. There we go. Cheesecake has been my favorite since I was a child. But I mean, you put cream cheese frosting on anything, and I'm down. All right, I think this one might be better for me to put in first. I think I'm not gonna be able to get this in once I have it covered in resin, so it's just gonna go in here. Oh no, actually I probably could. Oh well, that's okay. So I'm just putting one of these seashells with like the moss and stuff in here. So there's not gonna be any of the octopi in here, just a seashell. So it'll match, but it's gonna be, I don't think cheesecake's technically a pie. I don't think cheesecake's technically a pie. It's probably technically a cake. I don't know. I don't know if it's technically either. I feel like it's kind of its own thing. And then this one, I'm gonna throw some of these rocks down. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to take one of these stones here. It has a base layer. I mean, you make a fair point. Make a fair point that cheesecake is done in a pie tin, and it has a crust. I should have left the UV resin down. This should be the last thing of the UV resin, though, I think. Just double check here. Yeah, that doesn't need UV resin. Do we want to do, I don't know why I'm doing that. Oh, there it is. I kind of think we could do just a third set of dice tonight with just of like a 7-piece set or something like that. I think we could do that if we wanted to. But I don't know necessarily what we want to make. If anyone has an idea for like something I should do for a set of dice tonight, I am open to ideas. Oil slick dice. Which ones? The oil slick ones haven't sold. They haven't even been sanded yet. Yeah, this set hasn't even been sanded yet. It's still in my to sand box. These are the ones you're talking about. Dice with cat hair? You know, everyone keeps saying that, and it's something I could do, because I have a bag of cat hair over here. Can you do it? Everyone keeps saying I should. I do. Oh, no, that's actually different. That was a different set. That was a different set. Here, kitty cat again. Oh, that'd be very sweet, mother of rats. That would be sweet. I just like doing that same technique, to be honest. Name brand, not name brand. Where I put all the things in the same cup and then pour it. Oh yeah, no, there's a different set. Although I feel like that bodes well for whether they'll sell or not. Brand is fine. I was gonna say name brand, and then I realized that your name is literally not name brand. And so then I figured that that wouldn't work. Oh, that's where that went. I was looking for that. That goes over here. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then I need one of these. There we go. All right. Actually, I could have some of these floating, which might be kind of cool. Oh no, I'll have the swirl of fog. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I definitely have a certain series of colors and designs that I use a lot. It's like when in doubt, you know, pinks and blues and purples and teals in a dirty pour. That's my go-to. Let's try attaching some more of these. So I'm just attaching some of these petals because I want it to match. And then we're gonna put this down in here with the other little stones in here, and then we'll add a little bit of the fog like we're gonna do with the others. So let me just want all these to be slightly attached a little bit. Ooh, made a set of dragon dice. That sounds cool. Like, why is this unstable? Hey, is the stream quality okay for you guys? It's telling me that it's not poor network connection. I'm just wondering, are things still... You have issues with the stream? I think it might be on